Hello, guys. Wow, Nelson A says you helped me get a girlfriend. Thanks. Wow, Nelson. Please say more. What happened? How'd you get the girlfriend? What advice did you use? I wish I could like bring you on the live. But yeah, let us know, Nelson. Hello, a hi. So Shazad has asked a question. He says, Yo, that girl who comes with her friends and boyfriends who always stares at me. How do I approach her? So this is a girl who has a boyfriend, Shazad, and you want to approach her anyway and try to steal her away from the boyfriend? Am I getting you right? Um, first of all, that's tall order. Steal yo, Mr. Steal yo girl or whatever, right? So yeah, you're gonna have to be like pretty spectacular, but you're just gonna have to find a way to make conversation. And if she's like, I have a boyfriend, you just be like, I know, and I don't care. I'm better than him, basically. That's the approach you gotta take. A guy's taken that approach with me, and I was impressed. Very impressed. But remember, Shazad, just because a girl looks at you does not mean she wants to jump on your dick, wants to have sex with you. Remember that. Girls can look at a guy without wanting to have sex. Unlike guys. So, yeah. What do you think, Shazad? You think you can do it? Start conversation. And when she's like, Are you flirting with me? Because I got a boyfriend. You just got to be like, I know. And I don't care. Because I want you. Shazad said, But that is the only subtle sign they give. Oh, God, Shazad. You have fallen into the number one, what's a good name for it? The number one male trap. The number one male gaze trap. Number one male gaze trap is thinking that girls are sending you secret code in the form of staring at you, patting the head twice, touching the nose, bending over, bending and snapping, all sorts of bizarre signals and symbols to signify they want to have casual sex with you. Do not trust the signs, Shazad. Simply go after what you want. Simply go up and talk to her, test it out. Do not assume that if a girl looks at you, she wants you. Remember that. So, Ilul says, So, when people ask me about my dating life, they ask what type of woman I am looking for. And I usually say that she has a sense of humor, kind, overall a good personality. But as far as a look I like tattoos, and people think I'm crazy. Well, I don't know why people think you're crazy, Ilul. I mean, that's definitely a common type for a guy to be into. So, Shazad says, I can do it since I gave up cigarettes and I'm 2 months sober. You can do what, Shazad? So then Hari says, I feel it is easier to get a girl with a girlfriend just because it's a 1v1 rather than a one versus all. But she also might like the attention, not interested in you per se. Oh, okay, you're saying a boyfriend. So you feel it's easier to get a girl with a boyfriend who's a 1v1 rather than a one versus all. Oh, God, you fall into another male gaze trap, thinking that girls with boyfriends are looking to monkey branch at any time. And I don't really see why a girl with a boyfriend would be a 1v1 rather than a 1v all because, she's a good looking girl. She's still going to have a lot of attention coming in. But I guess you're saying like she'll be more closed off to it because she has a boyfriend and then you can like work your way in. I don't know, you guys. Uh, I don't think it's smart. I think you guys should just, like, work on the basics here rather than trying to steal girls from their boyfriends right out under the nose of the other guy. Because in my opinion, it's gonna be a lot harder. A lot harder. But hey, try your strategy. So then Shazad says, approach her and talk to her. Crying, laughing emoji. So are you saying that's impossible to do, Shazad? Because if that's how you feel, we got to work on that. Nelson A says, be kind, be conscientious, and get them talking about this. Get them talking about themselves. This lady does not miss. Thanks, Nelson. So, oh, Nelson, so you're the one who got the girlfriend. So, how'd you do it? Tell us. Lil says, so anything I need to know about dating women? I only had one relationship. Oh, sorry, I was retracted, so I can't see it. Lil. Working on your looks maxing? Have you been making any improvements? Have you guys gotten a shirt, a linen shirt that you can open at the chest? Have you worked on your facial hair? Have you worked on your hairstyle? Have you worked on your style? Anything like that? Let me know because I want you guys to succeed. Shazad says, yep, join the gym and eating healthy. Nice, Shazad. Amazing. You are on a roll. A hi says, just let the gym did abs, delts, traps. Them females are going to be all over you. A hi, if you keep going like that. Shazad says, hell yeah, all that looks maxing, mewing, etc. Yep. You got it. Mewing. What do you guys think of mewing? Do you think it works? Are you young enough for it to change your jaw shape? I was too old when I learned about it. I'm like, damn it, I don't think it's going to work for me. But then some people say even when they're like over 25 or whatever, um, it still worked. So what do you guys think? Cisco says, Tate changed my life. Oh no. Oh God, how did he change your life, Cisco? Because I don't like to hear this and I fear it's for the worse, but let's hear it. Maurice Bledsoe says, I've had this girl that wasn't in a relationship for 5 years, and when we met, she instantly fell in love. What's that about? Now is this like I need like a new word for not a humble brag, but kind of like a hidden brag, because a lot of you guys like to do that on this channel. Maurice, so what is the confusion? Like, why would she fall in love with you? Is that your humble brag? Or, um, just what's the confusion? Like, that sounds completely normal to me. Like, a girl is single for 5 years and then she meets a guy she likes and she falls in love. That's very, very normal. So why are you saying, what's that about? Like, where's the confusion? Or is it just like, why would she like you or what? So Shazad said, mewing. Yep, it works. So did you get like hunter eyes and like a chiseled jawline? So Ailil says, so anything I need to know about dating women? I only had one relationship that lasted 1 month, and that was 6 years ago. How do I deal with rejecting? So do you mean rejecting women or being rejected as a man? Let me know. So then Shazad says, hey, by the way, you know this shit called semen retention? Yeah, I do. I do know it, unfortunately. What are your thoughts on it? My thoughts are don't do it. Accept your sexuality, accept that you have a healthy sex drive, accept that you like to masturbate. But however, if it's, impairing your life because all you want to do is watch porn or whatever and you never talk to women, hey, try it. So, We Living Nice says, hey, how are you? Learned quite a few from your videos. Nice, We Living Nice. What did you learn? What did you learn? And thank you. Or maybe I shouldn't have said thank you, but yeah. So Maurice Bledsoe says, "It is. I'm traditional. I believe it takes time to fall in love." Okay, well, for you, it takes time to fall in love, I guess, but for many people, they fall in love at first sight within a couple weeks. I mean, it's pretty common for people to fall in love very quickly. And it's also common for people to take time to fall in love, but it's not like weird that someone falls in love like quite quickly. Um, so I lol says, "How do I deal with being rejected as a man? I feel so lonely." Yeah, I lol. It's hard, okay? It hurts. It really hurts. Depending on what you make it mean about yourself, it can hurt even more. You know what I mean? Because like, what are you telling yourself when you're rejected? Are you telling yourself like, I will never, you know, have sex. I'm not good enough as a man. I'm not worthy of dating someone who looks like her. Like, what kind of things are you telling yourself? Because, you know, there's lots of reasons that people could reject you, and there's a lot of negative thinking you can spiral out when you're rejected. And so, let us know a few things like when you get rejected, what are the thoughts that come to your head? Like, I suck. This is hopeless. You know, I'll never attract the kind of girl I want, or what are you thinking? And We Living Nice is female nature and a bit of female psychology, just to mention a few. Very cool. And, the term female nature, it kind of scares me a little. Yes, I love to use the term females. I find it humorous, but when people say female nature, I'm kind of like, oh God. But what did you learn about female nature? I'm curious. Um, Cisco says average women don't want average men. I would have to agree. Average women want alpha in love. That's like your standard for women. They don't want just like a guy who doesn't understand women, doesn't understand the female gaze, isn't, super appealing to them. So yeah, I agree. 92 says, I just tell myself it's okay, it's not a match, and that's okay, and on to the next. I like that, 92. It's okay, it's not a match, and that's okay. Positive attitude. Very, very positive attitude. Very, very good, 92. I like that. Yep. This is my new symbol for like, you got it going on. All right, guys. Great discussion here. So, you know, let's see. I venue 3 jurisdiction says, how can we rewatch your previous lives about the female gaze? They're not in your channel feed. Yeah. I took about like 2 of them down. Like the last 2 I didn't put up. Maybe last 3. I have like a bunch about the female gaze, but do you mean my last lives or do you mean like where I talk about the female gaze in particular? Let me know. So let's hear what We Living Nice says. Can you give an insight on a very stubborn woman with narcissistic characteristics who you have a child with and have totally moved on, but she is trying everything to bring you down? That is scary. That is scary. Um, Can you go into any more detail? Like, how is she trying to bring you down? Is she trying to just get like full custody? Is she trying to like give you an unfair terms in like the divorce agreement? Um, that's a very, very bad, scary situation to be in. And I'm very sorry to hear that you are in that situation because I know these situations can be horrible. Marie says, "We living nice, you got a problem, bro." Yes, you do. That's a problem if there ever was one. One venue, three jurisdictions says your last lives. Yeah, my last lives, I took them down. They weren't super great or anything. I don't think you need to see them. But why do you feel like you need to see them? One venue. Ilol says, sometimes I feel worthless. I feel ugly and I am not enough to date someone. I am doing almost everything as a man and still get rejected. It is something I can do to fix. Is it something I can do to fix myself? I feel like I am the poor. Ilol, I sympathize. So you're saying you feel worthless, ugly, not enough to date someone. You're doing almost everything as a man, still get rejected. Is it something you can do to fix myself? I am okay. I feel like I am the problem. It's very, very rough and tough, Idol, and I'm very sorry to hear this. I feel like this is very common. I mean, yeah, it's kind of I feel like it's kind of like, you don't really know what the problem is. And like you said, you're doing almost everything and you're kind of wondering, what is it I can do? Is there anything more I can do? What am I not getting? What am I missing? Is it me? Is it because I'm ugly? Is it because I'm worthless? Is it because I'm not enough? Yeah, it's just really tough because first of all, it's competitive, it's personal, and it's complex, and you have to kind of figure out where's the flaw in what you were doing, and it's complicated. It's very complicated. There's things you can do. Yes, you can improve your looks, you can improve your game, but it's almost like you need someone there watching you and giving you like feedback. That's why I kind of feel like this channel is so limited because I really need to like see video, if not just spy on you from like a corner to see what is it you are doing wrong. Because I'm sure if I did that, I could really see, okay, he's making a glaring, blatant error here. Or he's doing pretty well. It's just this girl was kind of like not interested or whatever. So, yeah, it's rough and it's really hard to figure out on your own without feedback. And I know it's very difficult to get feedback from girls because they'll just, try to spare your feelings or just ghost or be very vague. So it's really hard. I lol. And I think it's completely understandable how you're feeling, completely normal. And I like the fact that you are like really analyzing what you're doing wrong and trying to figure it out, although it's very painful. As you do it, in my opinion, eventually that kind of thinking pays off because eventually, after like tossing and turning, what am I doing wrong over and over and over again for like years, eventually you start testing your hypotheses and making progress. Hopefully, it won't take years, Idol, but yeah, it's not easy and it's very understandable. So Ilol says, I really want to better myself mentally, physically, and financially. Yeah. And I respect and admire that you are trying to do that, Ilol. And I believe you will be successful. Hello, Dr. Rocket. Great to see you. So any thoughts on that, Ilol? Um, a Wira says, respect yourself, that's it. Is it really that simple, Wira? Just respect yourself and all your problems are solved? I mean, I feel like a lot of guys probably respect themselves, but then they just get shot down a lot. So, what do you think? Is that going to be a cure for every guy's problems? Let me know. A hi says, "Oh, I have a question. When women flick their hair, is that a subconscious flirt move?" No, it is not. A hi. Another classic example of the male gaze trap. The number one male gaze trap, thinking decoding the signs, signals, and codes. Like if I went like this, does that mean I'm flirting with you? Yes or no? Type it in the comments below. If I go like this, am I flirting? Pop quiz right in the comments below. It's a pop quiz, guys. Oh, yeah, I was thinking I could do this kind of like a pop quiz for you guys to test your knowledge of the female gaze. I thought that might be kind of fun. But yeah. So first question on your pop quiz is, am I flirting? What do you think? Let's see. A hi says, I thought so. Sad face. Dorian says yes. Oh dear God. You people. You people. The answer is, guys, anyone else want to hazard a guess whether it's yes or no? Am I flirting? The answer is no. The answer is no. Guys, sometimes when you have long hair, it gets in the way and you move it back. Could a woman use it in an exaggerated way to flirt? Yes. However, at least 50% of the time or more, if not 90% of the time, if not 99% of the time, it's not flirting. However, if you watch my video that I made for you guys on the signs she's into, you will see that if a woman was going to flirt, she might play up hyper feminine behaviors to try to look like more obviously like feminine to you guys. So, yeah, but the thing is, most of the time they're not flirting. They're just like moving their hair. So, you guys are being too much male tonight to see the truth. Mr. D says, what about when a girl twirls her fingers around her hair? Girls love doing that, I noticed. Again, I mean, it's interesting that you guys can't see this, but it's like, certain girls have like a nervous habit of like twisting their hair or whatever. So for some girls, no, it does not mean they're flirting. However, if a girl was just being so super obvious doing it and just going like looking into your eyes, like looking up, making her eyes really big. I hesitate to even say this because I feel like you guys will just like jump to a conclusion that she's doing this when she's not, but it is possible she could be using it to flirt. However, some people are just twirling their hair, so that's why I'm telling you guys, don't worry about the signs. Just get over your fear of rejection. Start doing rejection therapy. Start asking out girls instead of like looking like a crazy ancient man who's reading the signs and signals in the sky. You know what I'm saying? Reading the birds in the heavens or reading the tea leaves. It's like you guys seem semi crazy. So, in general, if you like the girl, you got to start talking to her. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You have to say, "Hi, I'm Mr. D." You got to go up to her. You got to start a conversation. Please don't be like looking like a crazy person and making like these like perverted eyes because she's twisting her hair or she's flipping her hair. That's like a surefire recipe for a girl to think you're creepy because she's probably just normally like touching her hair and you're thinking, "Oh my god, she wants to suck my dick or whatever." And it's like, no, she's actually just moving her hair. So, anyway, so Andrea VC says they also show and highlight the neck and stuff. Yeah, so right now I'm just like itching my neck. But if you just went by that rule, you would be thinking, "Oh my gosh, she wants me so bad," right? So be careful with this stuff, guys, please. Um anyway, Mr. D says, Victoria, what are some more female gaze movies, shows, episodes can you recommend? Well, I'm reading another one for you guys right now, and I'm reading the book of 365 Days, the international bestseller and Netflix Insta classic. And oh my god, this book is like a perfect example of the female gaze, okay? Like, the female gaze fallacies are so apparent in this book, I'm like, my eyes are falling out of my head, okay? When I hear some of the stuff, like, let me read you guys, like, a thing I highlighted in this book because I'm like, "Oh my god, this is like the female gaze fallacy in a nutshell." Okay, well, let me just tell you guys the premise of this book. Um, so basically, oh, yeah, I found it. Yep. I highlighted it. See? I'm gonna read you guys that. But basically, the premise of this book is there's this like incredibly sexy, tall mafia don who lives in Sicily. Okay. And he has this dream of like this beautiful woman, and this beautiful woman is like haunting him in his dreams. And then, what do you know? He's walking around and he sees this beautiful woman, and it's her from her dreams. And he's just like, "I have to have her. Like, I'm in love with her. She's just been haunting me. Like, I need her." So, this guy's like a cold-blooded killer. Like, he just shoots people in the head, no problem. Okay? So, he sees her and he captures her. And he's like, "I will give you" he captures her and he like ties her up and he like handcuffs her in his little mafia castle. Because of course he's like incredibly rich. And he like it's like, "I will give you 365 days to fall in love with me. And, I will just like you have to live with me in my castle, and you'll have, like, all the money in the world. And, of course, I'm, like, the most attractive man you've ever seen, and I'm, like, a cold-blooded killer, yet I just need you to be in love with me so bad." I'm like, "What?" This is classic 10 female gaze fantasies. Like, I could pretty much go down my list of 10 female gaze fallacies and, like, match it up. I'm like, "And that's this one, and that's this one, and that's this one." Oh, yeah, and of course, he's like, "And I will not force anything on you. I will, like, get your consent at all times, but by the end of this 365 days, you will fall in love with me." And, of course, she's kinda like an alpha submissive, like I've been trying to tell you guys on my channel. This is like a typical female mentality, which is completely opposite the male fantasy of a sexually aggressive woman who, like, jumps on your dick. The opposite is a feisty, bratty, angry, powerful, aggressive woman who a man tames and conquers. That's the alpha submissive king. So, let me read you, like, this little quote from it. So, this is after he's captured her. Um, he goes, "You must be mine, Laura." That was it. I snapped. "I'm not anyone's property. I'm not a thing to own. You can't just have me, kidnap me, and count on me just accepting that," I hissed. So you see, there's the kink. It's basically like a challenge. It's like, "You can't have me. You can't own me." It's kind of like a challenge. Own me. Make me. Make me. You know what I'm saying? And then she goes, "I know." Oh, and then he goes, "I know. That's why I'll give you a chance to fall in love with me and stay with me out of your own volition rather than any compulsion I might impose." So basically, this guy is like a female gaze fantasy. He's a man written by a woman, guys. He's a man who's like desperate for this woman to fall in love with him, even though he's got every single woman in the land at his fingertips because he's like the ultimate alpha mafia boss who's like incredibly handsome, incredibly rich. See that? See that alpha in love fantasy I've been telling you guys about on my channel? Alpha in love. So what do you guys think? That's a good book. Well, I'm not saying it's good, but it's educational. Educational for you guys. So that's a good one, Mr. D. 365 days. Mr. D says, "Victoria, what is going on in the mind of girls and their possessive kink fantasies, kink/fantasies? Lots of girls I notice are really proud to be their boyfriend's property, to be their man's possession." Yes, I have been trying to tell you guys this on my channel for all eternity. You guys need to understand dominance and submission, and you need to understand why women are into submission. And I explain this in a lot of videos on my channel, but if you understand that, you will understand your question. But to give like a basic summary of it, so, okay, this is how I think of it. It's a female mating instinct, okay? You can see it in basically every kind of female in the animal kingdom. You can see it in chimps, gorillas, rhinos, and many more, okay? Dogs, wolves. Women want a very evolutionary fit guy, okay? They are wanting to be with an alpha, and of course, there's many definitions of alpha. There's many ways a woman can deem you worthy, but she's gotta deem you worthy, and she's gonna be really attracted to that strength, that power, that, masculine aggression and masculine power that all you guys have, but not all you guys know how to bring out very well. And she's going to want to feel kind of like safe and protected by your power. Okay. So she's going to want to feel a lot of times that feeling sexually of being possessed, owned, property, but by someone who's worthy and by someone who earns it and by someone who is worth it. The alpha. So, yeah, it's a very, very common kink, very common primal, intrinsic female gaze fantasy. So, yeah, what do you think, Mr. D? And I mean, you can see in that book, 365 Days, that's a great example. It's like she's made up a scenario where she can be owned by the guy because he captured her for 365 days and he's holding her captive. There's so many romance novels like Captive Bride or whatever. But it's that feeling of being like under the power of somebody very strong, very powerful, and just marinating and like feeling his power. That is a turn on. That is like the biggest turn on probably for women. It's sexy. It's like that's why they're straight guys because they enjoy men. They enjoy like masculinity. They find it sexy. And I'll be the first to admit it's very sexy when you really see it. And it's so funny because guys don't even know like when they're doing it. Like I was noticing this with my boyfriend over the weekend. I'm like, that you just did like the raw attractive power thing I was talking about. And he was just like, what? And I'm like, I wish I could have filmed that for the guys on my channel because like then they could see it. And he didn't even know what part he did it at. He doesn't know when he's doing it, but I saw it. And I was like, you know what I'm saying? So anyway. Um so let's see. Ted Barley says, "What are your experiences with men's hygiene?" What do you mean by that? Like, or do they have bad hygiene? Um, okay, but then he says, "What experience do you have with guys with bad hygiene, and what advice would you give to guys regarding hygiene?" Well, I mean, just kind of the basics, Ted Barley. Like, you don't want to. Who could that be? You want to have like good breath and everything, and you don't want to smell bad, but I don't know, like, for example, like, my boyfriend, like, there's some people coming. Like, I never wanted to wear, like, deodorant because I'm like, "He smells good." Like, so I don't really feel like you need to be so concerned with that, but some people are much more concerned with hygiene than others. I mean, bad breath is, like, the number one that comes to mind, and of course, shower and all that, but I don't know more than that, Ted Barley, like, what advice do you need on it? So, alright, guys, we got some great questions. Hello, Don Giovanni. Nice to see you again. Sorry to be late. Welcome, Don Giovanni. The 92 says, "Hey, Victoria, what's your ick? My homegirl and I were talking about our icks a couple of days ago." You know, that's a great question, 92. I have seen all these videos about the icks, and I don't really share necessarily the same icks that everyone else shares because I felt like every single video of an ick I've seen is just kind of like an example of a guy being weak or feminine. But an ick I do have is, I guess, just like misogyny and sex negativity and kind of like red pill beta attitudes. Honestly, those are my icks. Like when I see a guy with that, I'm just like, oh no, oh no, 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 never, never, never. So that's my main ick. What are yours? 92, I'm curious. Dorian says, "Hello, Dorian. I've asked this girl out 2 times and she has denied me. Should I ask her one more time or would that be considered sexual harassment?" Okay, Dorian, so what did she say when she denied you? What did she say? I mean, there's a lot of variability there. So if she was kind of like, "Oh, I'm busy," it's different necessarily than not interested. So let me know. So then, Ted Barley says, "Are you familiar with the Aaliyah with Leah? One of her song lyrics goes, 'Your love is one in a million.' It goes on and on and on. You give me a really good feeling. It goes on and on and on." What is that feeling? Um, it's kind of vague to me. Okay, it goes on and on and on. I'm not really sure particularly. I mean, I guess that's just how she's describing like being in love, but I mean, she didn't really say much besides just, your love is one in a million. Okay, so it's a very special love. It goes on and on and on. Perhaps it's just kind of like this infinite, transcendent, powerful feeling. You give me a really good feeling. Okay, that's not really saying much. It goes on and on and on. Yeah, I guess it's just like kind of a description of the depth and power and kind of like transcendence of her love. That is kind of a female gaze thing. Like I was just at this all women retreat, and that is a very that's kind of like what I wanted to try to explain to you guys is that that depth and transcendence thing is very like female gaze thing in my opinion. Sorry. Interesting question, Ted Burley. What do you think it means? So then Mono Munaz says, "I never act like the guy in the book, but the way I look at her, she knows I'm like the guy in the book." I like that. Should I give you is this really annoying? That's my sign that, like, you said something really good. I like that. If you could teach that look, I'm sure you'd be making the big bucks. So then Uniz290. "Hi, Victoria. Thank you. I love your honesty. Seen a lot of your videos, and they really help bring more hope and clarity." Oh, wow. Thank you. "Do you have some examples of Chad's bad boys alphas that women find attractive?" Fictional or non-fictional? Because definitely that guy I was just talking about in the book 365 Days is a good example of a Chad, a bad boy, and an alpha that women find attractive. But like in real life, what's that guy's name? Jack Harlow? When I saw him, I found him like very attractive. He got a mix of Chad, bad boy, and alpha. Who else? Um, I'm not like so up on like celebs, but who's like another good example? Um, you know the guy from Yellowstone, Rip, whatever. You guys told me to look him up. I did, and I'm like, Chad, Bad Boy, and Alpha combined. Yep. But who do you want? Like a celebrity, pop star? You know, because most of them really have a combination of Chad, Bad Boy, and Alpha. You know, like even someone like Bo Burnham. Okay, he's not like your typical guy that, a guy would think is like a Chad, Bad Boy, and Alpha, but like he kind of is, isn't he? So anyway, let me know in a little more detail, Eunice. So then, sorry, I lost my place here. So Zendo says, do girls like being called degrading names over sexting? Okay, Zendo, that's really going to depend on how much you've sexted with her and how well you know her. Like, if you just, like, don't know her and you just started sexting with her and you take the chance and call her a degrading name, it's a huge risk because a lot of girls do not like being called degrading names, okay? Some girls might, but, it's probably like a 1 in 10 chance or something, who knows? She also might like it when she gets to know you better, so it really depends on what stage you're in. Has she told you she likes being called degrading names and you're just wondering, should I do it over sexting? If she's told you, then yes. But you're gonna be taking a real risk, especially in the beginning, of really offending her. Either because she's not into it or because she's not ready for it and it's kind of rude in the beginning without, more rapport. So then Ilol says, how can I develop a personality and how to have a long-term relationship? And what are some good books to read about relationships? So, Ilol, how can I develop a personality? That's a tough one, Ilol, because I don't know. Do you have social anxiety? Because that's kind of how I always felt when I had social anxiety, just like I don't have a personality. And I would always ask my boyfriend, I'm like, do you like my personality? He'd be like, you have a great personality. I'm like, I do? Like, I don't even know if I have a personality. So I don't know if you're thinking anything like that, but I definitely have felt that. Like, I have no personality. I'm very quiet. I'm very shy, but like, you have a personality. Just feels like you don't. You know what I'm saying? How to have a long term relationship, and what are some good books to read about relationships? Well, it's tricky because the long term relationship skills are not necessarily the skills that are going to help you get into the long term relationship. Um, necessarily. So you might want to focus on just kind of like attracting people who are interested in being in a relationship with you. But if you really want to focus about like good books about relationships, the best one, and I always recommend this, but that's just because it's so fucking good. Feeling Good Together by David Burns. The best book about relationships ever, in my opinion. Hands down, no holds barred. Read it or weep. Please. Read it immediately. Everybody. It's so good. So then Brad Bettis, hello Brad, says, could you provide more detail on what your boyfriend did at that moment when he displayed the raw, attractive power? I could, but it will shock you guys. It will really shock you guys. Let's see. Let's see. What did he say? What was that thing that he said that I really liked? Oh, okay, Brad. This is pretty intense. Hopefully, no one I know is watching. So, okay, Brad. So basically, do not try this at home. Okay, this is done by like qualified, certified professionals. But I don't even know if I can say this, Brad. Let me think about that, Brad. Let me come back to you, Brad, because that's a great question, but I'm not sure I'm ready to say it. Oh, oh, Brad. Great question. Let me think about if I should go into that. So, Bada Bing says, how many days if a girl doesn't text back should you give up? Uh, I wouldn't give up. If she just doesn't text back, maybe about like a week later, like try again. Maybe she's bored. Maybe she's bored that night and she's like, I got nothing better to do. Boom. It's reignited. I would not just give up. I would not take this whole red pill attitude too seriously. Like, if she doesn't text me back, well, she can leave because I'm a prize and I have self esteem and I don't stand for that. Just chill. Like, don't take it so seriously. It's not a slight against you. Just keep her as, another number in the black book. Keep dating others, but who knows? It could turn into something. If you don't freak out and you don't take it personally, you just stay chill, you stay calm, and you stay confident, and keep after it. So anyway, Banter ABC says, "Wow, Netflix has a sequel called The Next 365 Days." Yeah, I tried to watch that, but I my boyfriend really liked the first one, so I tried to watch the next one with him, but he said it was so bad he couldn't continue. But I was kind of liking it. Thank you, Don Giovanni. Then 92 says, "My ick for a woman is bad breath and possibly hairy arms. If I'm friends with a woman, I don't care if she has arm hair. Mainly if I'm dating someone, I can't get over it." Well, 92, that's interesting because, all women have hair on their arms. It's really normal to have hair on your arms. Are you talking about like armpit or just like forearms? Because like every single woman has like forearm hair. But anyway, bad breath. Yeah, can't argue with that one. Um, Thanks for sharing your icks, 92. But I'm curious about the hairy arms one because it's like it's not really typical for a woman to shave like their arm hair, but maybe if you mean armpit hair, that's more like typical. But then Dr. Rocket says, "You have been crystal clear about these concepts since I first fell in love with your channel. I read 3 papers reinforcing the accuracy of your messages about all these dominant/slash issues." Thank you so much, Dr. Rocket. You are incredibly supportive. I appreciate that. So then, he says celebrity or someone you can watch to learn. That is a great question. That is a great question. There's lots of guys, like most celebrities, just kind of by their status alone, take on the alpha Chad bad boy label. You know what I'm saying? So I almost feel like it's unfair advantage to be a celebrity because, they got options. So they kind of become Chad and they kind of become a bad boy at the same time because they have so many options. And, women want them because of their status. So they've kind of become alpha as well. So yeah, I feel like the best example would be someone who doesn't have status, who doesn't have looks, and who just has like amazing game because looks you can't really, you know, if you don't have good looks, there's nothing you can really do about it. Status extremely hard to get, so but game everybody can everybody can do. So I feel like yeah, it would just be like a guy who's kind of average looking, no money, no particular fame, but just like gets a ton of women. I feel like that would be like the best example to watch, right? What do you guys think? Ted Bradley says, "Have you come across the Female Dating Strategies podcast? If so, what do you think?" Um, I haven't. No, I haven't. What's it like? And then Ted Barley says, "Have you ever orgasmed from anything other than direct clitoral stimulation?" Maybe like 3 times ever out of, like, thousands, like 10,000s, 100,000s. So, yeah. Um, Dorian says, "The first time she declined me, she said she was focusing on her career, and the second time, she said she doesn't have the time." It's pretty, solid rejection. Like, she's literally saying, "No, because 'cause I'm focusing on my career," and then she says, "No, because 'cause I'm too busy." It's pretty obvious. In that case, I'd probably just move on. I mean, if you really liked her, you could play, like, the ultimate long game, but, yeah, I'd probably move on at that point to Dorian. So, Don Giovanni says, "The man has to be worthy in her view before he can get away with calling her degrading names." I don't necessarily agree with that, Don Giovanni, because some women, that's just never gonna be their kink. You know what I'm saying? They're not really into, like, degradation. They might be more of, like, a praise kink girl. They might be more of, like, a soft girl, you know what I'm saying? Um, some people just are not into degradation, no matter how worthy they feel a guy is. Some women are. So that might be true for some women, but definitely it's not like a thing like, oh, if she really liked the guy, then she would let him degrade her. Like that's just not gonna be true. So, what's the name of that book again? 365 Days. Um, so then Lowell says, "Yes, I don't feel like yes, I do feel like I don't have a personality as I'm very quiet and scared to talk to people." I understand, Lowell. I understand. That is an issue that quiet, in quotes, people have. Doing these lives honestly helped me get around that because it's like you guys let me talk to you guys for hours. And then, like, when I watch them back, I'm kind of like, you know what? Okay, my personality isn't like that great, but I definitely have one. You know what I'm saying? It's not necessarily gonna, like, be wowing people left and right unless I'm talking about my special interest or whatever, but I have a personality. It's just maybe not the most universally appealing or whatever, but I get it because I definitely have these exact same feelings, and I feel like it's very common for quiet people with social anxiety, like I said, to feel almost just, like, shamed and crushed by our extrovert culture and people saying really annoying things to us, shaming us, and making us just have like an abundance of shame and insecurity due to our deep thinking introversion and all that. So I don't know. But yeah, I get it. So then oh, thank you, Banter ABC, for sharing that book. Feeling Good Together: Secret to Making Troubles Relationship Work by David Burns. Thank you for sharing that. Yes, I appreciate that. Um, Brad Pettis says, "Okay, well, if you do feel comfortable to share, I'd be glad to hear. Hitting this right frequency, this attractive power kind of zone that is invisible to men, is like the most interesting thing to me." Okay, Brad, just for you, I'm going to give you a little insight. So, this is just going to sound really weird though, but I have said this on different videos. So basically, my boyfriend, he lets me basically like be really aggressive with him. Like I was mad at him for something, and he was kind of just letting me like I don't even know if I can say it. Brad, just email me, okay? And I'll try to write you. mynonlittlerlife@gmail.com. Um, so then 92 says forearms, and it's weird because I don't mind the armpit hair, and I think it's hot, to be honest. Oh gosh, forearms, 92, but where did you get this idea that, like, women don't have hair on their forearms? Like, have you been with women who shave that? I guess, like, some women just, like, get laser hair removal on their entire body, but it's like, for me okay. Well, thank you for sharing, 92, let's just say that. It's weird because I don't mind the armpit hair, I think it's hot, so yeah, that is weird. So what do you think it is about forearms? So then Ailul says, "What personality a woman should have in order to be in a relationship, and how can I be in a traditional relationship?" All right, what do you mean by that, Ailul? What personality a woman should have in order to be in a relationship? And what do you mean by traditional relationship? Banter ABC says Ultimate Bad Boys, Marlon Brando, and Streetcar Named Desire. I actually haven't seen that, Banter ABC. Um, but yeah, he's a very good looking guy. I have seen pictures of him in that, but never the actual movie. So then Ellis says, "Yo, hey Ellis, how are you? How are you doing, Ellis?" Ted Brother says, "So what's the thing Beardo said?" Okay, I'll type it in the comments, all right? But please, this was like in context. I'm giving you that. I'm giving you the out of context, all right, guys? And I'm gonna type it in the comments. This was one moment when I saw the raw attractive power. I typed it for you guys, but anyway, so Sendo says my intuition tells me she liked it, but she's finding it hard to accept that she liked it. We've known each other for 2 years. I'm not sure your intuition is a very good judge. Like, is she saying, like, what is she saying? She like, I didn't like being degraded. I don't know. You're treading on pretty dangerous water. Like in the kink community, they would never tell you to like degrade somebody without knowing what they want to be degraded with. Like, for example, I mean, you could degrade somebody by calling them like a stupid bitch or whatever, but that could be like incredibly triggering to somebody who just like has trauma from their dad calling them stupid or something. So it's very dangerous to just use horrible insults when you don't know who this person is, what she likes, what she's into. I would not do it. I would not recommend it. There's a lot of other sexting you can do. And you can even ask in sexting, do you like being degraded? Are you into degradation or are you into praise? That's one thing you can literally ask. And then she can be like, yeah, I kind of like being degraded. Because if she's into being degraded and if that's like really her kink, then she's going to let you know that because she's going to be like needing and wanting to hear that during sexting. Like, she's kinda like, "Oh my god, thank God you asked because, like, that's the one thing I really need to hear when we're sexting." So, I don't like this attitude of, "My intuition tells me she liked it," because a lot of your guys' intuition tells you that, like, when a girl flips her hair or whatever, she wants to sext with you or whatever. So, your intuitions I don't like your intuitions, but yeah, well, I mean and also the fact that she's finding it hard to accept that she liked it. I don't know. So Bada Bing says, if you disagree with red pill, what's your opinion of black pill? So I actually think a lot of black pill is good. Like my friends, he shared with me some black pill videos, and he kind of told me, and I kind of agree from the videos I have seen, that there's kind of like two kinds of black pill videos. One is like very depressing, very kind of like nihilistic, and very like hopeless, where it's just like, guys, looks is all that matters. Like it's over for all of us. And then the other one is really focused on like the science of beauty and the science of improving your looks. And that second kind of video I think is really good, really smart, and very valuable. Um, so yeah, but I just don't agree that it's just like, well, looks is the only thing that matters, so just give up. But I do think looks are very important and can really help you guys out a lot and can really give you guys like a huge advantage. But that's not the only thing that matters. Game matters, status matters. Like my friend Philosophy Junkies, who's kind of been we've been kind of been talking about this, and this is his theory. But he was kind of saying like red pill is about game. And he was telling me about these, he showed me some of these videos, goldfish videos, which is kind of about like improving your status in life. And then black pill is about improving your looks. Looks, status, and game, they're all very important. My channel, I try to focus more on like game, like understanding women, understanding what to do, what to say, how to think about what women are doing, how to understand why they do the things they do, and your blind spots, their blind spots, that kind of thing. But, I think looks are very important as well, and you guys should be working on them because it could give you huge results. And status, I kind of feel like it's less important, but it's good too. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's obviously very powerful, so yeah. So what's your opinion of black pill? So then Ocean Moon Bell says, "She's right. I don't care who you are, how much I like or respect you, don't call me degrading names." Ocean Moon Bell, are you a woman? Because if you are, thank you so much for sharing your opinion. And I agree. Like, for example, I actually do like to be degraded in certain ways, but if some guy who I never met or who I just was like sexting for fun with just started doing that, I'd be like, ew, block and delete. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, I don't know you like that, bro. We're not there, right? We're not there. And also, how do you even know how I like being degraded since you don't know me yet? Like, do you even know what I like being degraded about? It's very specific, you know what I'm saying? So anyway, so Francisco Collins says, "I hate doing phone calls on Hinge. Some women make it so awkward to speak on the phone with a stranger." Really, Francisco, what do they act like and what do they do? Ellis Jackson says, "I mean, what the heck is a that great personality? How do you define it?" Yeah, great question, Alice. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's a deep question. It's good. But I guess I've kind of been, like, always insecure about my personality. Um, 92 says, "Yeah, I've been with women with no hair on their forearms." Nice. So then Brad says, "Haha, okay, thank you." Then Smartwater says, "I'm from Korea and date girl from Europe, like Paris. Does that make me a passport bro?" I haven't heard this term passport bro. What does this mean? Is that like you date foreign girls or interesting, Smartwater. Then Bada Bing says, "When is it okay to simp?" Um, that's a good, complicated question. Okay. That's yeah, that's interesting. Cause there's a good way to simp and a bad way to simp. And yeah, like you wanna be complimentary, you wanna express attraction, but you don't wanna do it in kind of like a "I am a lowly peasant, and you are a great goddess, and I am not worthy. Bow down." You know, that's like the bad way to simp, like, "You are so beautiful," crying emojis or whatever. Okay, because 'cause you're not coming off as, like, a powerful man. However, if you just say something like, "You are absolutely gorgeous," are you simping? You're complimenting her, but you're saying it from, like, a place of confidence and power rather than a place of, like, you know, "I will do anything to buy you a drink, mistress." You know what I'm saying? So, expressing attraction, complimenting, expressing desire, expressing, like, specific compliments about her, they're all good. Just don't take it so over the top where you're just basically telegraphing, "I have no options." And you don't need to, like, fake that you have options, but You just don't wanna seem like, if you guys have seen The Little Mermaid, in, like, Ursula's sea garden, and there are these little, like, shrimps that are, like, withering in her presence, like, you don't wanna seem like that. You know what I'm saying? So, anyway, Ocean Moon Bell, yes, I am a woman. Amazing, Ocean Moon Bell. Please feel free to comment more and comment on everything because that would be fantastic to get another woman's opinion here. And I'm curious, Ocean Moon Bell, um, do you like my channel? And if so, why? Because let me know. Let me know how you found my channel and stuff, and who are you? Introduce yourself if you don't mind. You don't have to, but I'm curious who you are. So, it doesn't have to be like a formal introduction or anything, but I'm just curious about like who you are and stuff like that. So, Unis 290 says examples of a non-celebrity ugly but attractive man would be amazing. Would also like more video examples on the raw attractive power. See your video example, but it was a really short clip. Yeah, you're right. That would be very smart if I did that because that was like the most popular video. So yeah, great, great suggestions. Thank you for that. The annoying wand of wonderful commenting to you. So then Pratik says, have you read book Case Against Sexual Revolution by Louise Perry? Would like to know your thoughts on it. Well, my good friend Philosophy Junkies, who I often mention on this channel, he actually sent me an interview with her, and I watched part of it. I haven't read her book, but I watched like an interview about her book. Not the whole interview, but I kind of got like the sense of what she was saying. And I thought she was making an interesting case. Like, I was curious to read her whole book because I thought she was making some interesting points. Like, what I remember from it, and correct me if I'm wrong, Pratik, but it was kind of like about how, the sexual revolution, like women should have casual sex and we should be like empowered to do whatever we want, isn't really good for girls because a lot of them don't want that. A lot of them want like relationships and they're really hurt by trying to have, like, casual sex like a man, basically. And I agree that it's true for some women, okay? Like, some women, they don't have a high sex drive, okay? They're not really that sexual to begin with. They're more demisexual, you know what I'm saying? Or they're more just interested in, like, kind of like a monogamous long-term relationship or whatever. They don't really have this desire to, like, explore sexually or anything like that. So in their case, I agree, they're not gonna be happy, like, doing it, but for other women, it does make them happy because they got a high sex drive. So they want to explore sexually. It makes them feel good to have sex. Like, for example, me, I started feeling, like, very, 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 very good and very strong and very confident and very empowered when I started having casual sex. So different people, different women, you know, are gonna like different things. But I agree, her ideas are important for perhaps a woman without a very high sex drive to read so that she could arm herself and do the right thing for her. But yeah, I'd like to read the book more. So what do you think of it? Um, Bada Bing says, I think Black Pill is accurate but not nuanced enough. It is not 100% looks. Um, 100%. It is not 100% looks. However, yeah, some of them make it seem like it is, yeah, and I get a lot of commenters like that on my channel, just being like, "Stop lying to men, it is 100% looks." I think women have a blind spot when it comes to looks, because I think looks are a lot more powerful than they think it is, so I like that they're emphasizing that, and I kinda had a blind spot about it until recently as well, until my friend, philosophy junkies. We started talking about it, and I realized, given the caveat of what he was saying, I agreed. So anyway, I agree. But I think they have some really interesting information on those channels about looks. At first, when I was watching, I was just laughing. I'm like, this is absolutely absurd. This is ridiculous. But there's a lot of good stuff in it. So then Bellig says, do you know mode one? Telling a girl directly what you think, something like, hey there, I feel attracted on you. You're kinda sexy. Let's hang out sometime. Have some intense orgasms. Let me know. See you. That is not gonna work. That is not gonna work. Okay. Yes, I know mode one, but what the late great ARC was talking about was a lot more dirty than what you're saying. Okay. He was basically doing intense, dominant, dirty talk in the girl's left ear or whatever. What you're saying is more just like the typical male gaze mentality, which is like, hello, I enjoy sex. Do you enjoy sex? Great. Let's share some wonderful orgasms together. Let me know. No, this has not once worked in like the history of like humankind. Okay. If it worked, you guys would all be like screaming and shouting and throwing a parade in the streets because your natural instinct, which is, I like sex, you, I think you like sex, so let's just share some nice sex together and then go on our merry way. It's never worked because that's not an attractive proposition to a woman to say, like in their heads they're thinking, and what do I get out of that? You use me for sex when other girls are getting like luxury dinners, huge flowers, luxury travel, jewelry, money, but I get nothing except an orgasm. And then you just kind of like don't ever talk to me again and move on to some other girl. That's like the opposite of the female gaze of being picked one out of a million, seen for her special, unique personality, like a karmic draw to her. It's not sexy. And also to say, like, you're kinda sexy, wow, like, that's not really a great compliment for a woman. You know, "Oh, you're kinda cute. Do you wanna have sex?" No. What are you giving her except a lukewarm, mild compliment, which she gets, like, 1,000 better than that, like, per day, basically. So, it's not gonna work. However, okay, if you do mode 1 the right way, and you're really good at being a dom, and you're really good at dirty talk, and you say something that gives a woman the experience of being with a real life dom, alpha male, in some girls, it can kind of like trigger this submissive instinct where they're just kind of like, yeah, this is kind of like a guy straight out of 365 days or, any like romance novel. And I've kind of always fantasized about a guy like that. And this guy's given me the opportunity to go for it. So let me just give in and go for it. You're offering her a submissive experience from her dreams. But what you're offering her is kind of just like your average guy who's like, hey, would you like to see a picture of my dick? Would you like to come over and suck my dick? And it's like, no, I would not. Why are men? Why do men? Are men okay? This is like what girls are thinking. So, do you see the difference, Bellig? Hopefully, I wasn't too harsh. Oh, wow, Nani2, thank you so much. Sorry, Nani2, I went on kind of like a rant there. Sorry, you waited. I thank you so much for your super chat. Really appreciate you, Nani2. So he says, I got told 4 times by different people that I had a right level of cockiness. I didn't know how I even fell into that personality type because I was a pushover. Is being cocky a bad thing? Okay, first of all, if people are telling you have the right level of cockiness, it is not a bad thing. Women like oftentimes, a lot of times, very oftentimes, most of the time even, they like cockiness because it shows kind of that like masculine essence that, well, I'm not gonna say masculine essence, but it shows the traits that they're attracted to. Let's say that because it shows kind of like that assuredness, that like leadership quality, that kind of like I know how to make decisions, I know how to take charge, I'm confident in my opinions, I'm not nervous, I'm not weak, I'm not scared. These are all things that women are like attracted to almost like by nature. So I think it's a good thing, 92. I've met some guys who are like incredibly arrogant. That bothers me a lot. They still probably get more girls than average, though. I personally hate it. However, the right level of cockiness sounds very good. What do you think, 92? Ocean Moon Bell. Oh, thank you so much for commenting. Let's see what he said. Yes, I love your channel and how I found you. I don't actually remember. It was quite some time ago, and the stuff you said just seemed like a beacon of light with the state of relationships these days. Wow. Oh, wow. Thank you so much for saying that. I'm so glad you introduced yourself, and now I know who you are. Very cool. And then Ocean Moon Bell says, at Bellic, your strategy will not work. It'll be harsh for her. Yeah. 100%. Thank you for backing me up on that. And then Bellic says, thanks. I've always been the nice guy, building myself up by now, but it still feels awkward talking triple X-rated language. 100% Bellic. Hopefully I wasn't too harsh on you. Yes. Yes. Typical nice guy mentality in your mode 1 dirty talk. Because the typical nice guy mentality is kind of like I was kind of saying, like, I like sex. Do you like sex? Would you enjoy a nice sexual encounter with me? But the thing is, that will never work because a Dom doesn't talk like that. A Dom gives orders. Okay. A Dom takes charge. A Dom takes control. So you see, that's not really typical nice guy mentality because a nice guy doesn't push that on other people, right? So that's the nice guy, bad boy dichotomy you guys all love. But you see what I'm saying, Bellic? Anyway. So then Smart Water says Passport Bro is like a Western man going to third world countries like Thailand, Philippines to get a girlfriend or wife because their own woman didn't want them, but I just preferred European girls. Oh, gotcha. Mind Warlock says Passport Bro, a man does not want to marry Western feminists because he feels he will end up ruined in divorce and is looking for a woman from a traditional culture who want to create a family. Interesting, Mind Warlock. I see. So then Ajax says, do women like muscles? Yeah. In general, they like it. They're not necessary, but they are good. You want to have like a bulky, big frame if you can. However, if you don't have that and you never will have that, don't despair. It's not everything. It's not necessary, but in general, they like muscles. So then, Smart Water says, what's your thoughts on Asian men dating white girl, Korean man, French girl? 100% do it, Smart Water. I think it's great. So then, Bada Bing says, I don't know why women like to call their lovers daddy. Do women want their men to call them mommy? Okay, another male gaze blind spot. Very interesting question. So it's interesting. It's very interesting. No, because see, what you're not understanding, Bada Bing, is you're not understanding the female gaze. That's why I try to tell you guys on this channel. That's why it's, like, so fucking important for me to convey this